All right, let's talk about BitNest, the platform that's suddenly everywhere in 2025, promising quick crypto yields, daily profits, and these little loop cycles that supposedly multiply your money. If you've seen the ads, you already know the drill. Choose a cycle, deposit your funds, wait a few days, and boom, guaranteed profit. It sounds clean, simple, and extremely tempting, but the deeper you look, the more the whole thing starts to feel shaky. So let's break it down in plain language. When you land on BitNest, they try to make everything feel very professional. There's a dashboard, yield calculators, even something they call autopilot earnings. They claim that all funds are handled through smart contracts and that users can verify everything on-chain. If you're a beginner in crypto, this sounds reassuring. The idea is the smart contract locks your funds, runs the cycle, and automatically returns your principal plus interest. No middleman, no risk, at least according to them. Here's where things get interesting. Many new users actually do report that the first cycle works. You put in a small amount like $20 or $50, and you really do get your money back with a little extra. And this is exactly how systems like this build trust. Once you see that first payout, you're convinced the platform is legit. You start depositing more, and that's exactly what they want. But after reviewing dozens of user experiences, a pattern becomes very clear. The moment investors scale up to larger deposits, $500, $1,000, sometimes even $5,000, withdrawals start getting delayed. Then the platform begins showing errors like cycle failed, funds under review, or extra gas fee required. Suddenly, you need to deposit even more money just to unlock your original balance. This is a classic red flag. Real financial platforms never force additional payments to release your own funds. Another issue is the so-called audit. BitNest proudly says their smart contract code was checked, but an audit of the code doesn't mean the project's business model is legitimate. It just means the contract doesn't have obvious bugs. It does not guarantee that the people behind the project aren't running a Ponzi-style system. Plenty of scams have clean contracts. And here's something most people ignore. BitNest's yield percentages simply don't make sense. They're offering returns that banks, hedge funds, and even major DeFi protocols would never promise because they're mathematically unsustainable. If a platform gives more money than it realistically earns, it must take new deposits to pay old ones. That is literally the definition of a Ponzi structure. There's also zero transparency about who owns BitNest, where the company is registered, or how its revenue is generated. No real team, no real address, no public funding source. If the people behind the platform disappeared tomorrow, there would be no way to track them down. So, what's the final verdict? BitNest may look legit in the beginning, especially with those tiny early payouts, but everything about the system, the unrealistic yields, the withdrawal blocks, the unlock fees, the anonymous team, and the dependency on constant new deposits points toward extremely high risk. At best, it's a platform that can collapse at any moment. At worst, it's a carefully dressed Ponzi trap designed to drain users' savings. If you're looking for safe, transparent crypto earnings, BitNest is not it. The potential losses far outweigh any short-term gain.